Welcome guys to episode 2 of Garage Gamers. We got Icecube on the left.
Hello.
I'm Zorbz. And today we're going to be talking about game delays.
Game delays.
Are they good? No.
Or are they bad?
Yeah, I was already going to say no, they're not. But well, let's go into the discussion before we just end the segment there.
What's been delayed? Let's start with that. What's been delayed in the gaming world?
Okay, I'm just going to drop ones that really hit home for me.
Recently.
Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Second? Third delay?
10th?
Originally...
11th delay?
Oh.
12th? Something like that.
So, originally slated for the end of last year, 2015. Then set for March 2016. And now we've got a delay to April... What was it? 20-something? April something.
There's clear, upsetness... that's not a word. Clear upsetness coming from you because you remember the dates and everything.
Because it's just like, okay, you say end of the year, and I was like, all right, they could do it, but it's just every time a game has a release date now, I just expect it's going to be delayed because that just seems what happens.
It's got to that point, isn't it?
And after the first delay, you're like, okay, so say for example it was going to be November, I think it was. Then you go to March. That's 4 months, which in a gamer's everyday life, that is an eternity.
Yeah.
Like I see 4 months and go, I might as well just off myself. What's the point of waiting? Seriously.
Not too extreme or anything. May as well end it now.
So when they announced that it was coming in March, as it gets closer, you're like, yes, okay. You start salivating. You're like, oh yes. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, sorry guys, it's delayed again. Luckily though, it was only an extra month. So I was going to ask you, in regards to that, we'll just go off with Uncharted 4. Do you think delaying it is a good thing or a bad thing? Do you think as a gamer would rather just be like, just release it and then patch whatever you need to fix? Or do you think that they should just fix everything and have it as pretty much a complete package before you play it?
Personally, when I hear that things have been delayed, I actually just don't care. I don't care because there's so many games sitting on the shelves that I haven't gotten around to finishing yet that it actually gives me a bit of breathing room to play a bit of catch up with the games that are already sitting there, the ones that you haven't invested the time into that you could. I mean, I've got so many friends that just sit there playing Destiny, Star Wars Battlefront, Call of Duty, Battlefield on repeat, just on loop. And there's all these amazing games that have come out that they haven't even tried. Like they see the preview, they say they want to play it, but they never do. They just play these multiplayer shooters on repeat all the time. And these are the perfect opportunities when you get a delay to pick up those amazing games that you're missing out on and do a bit of catch up before the Uncharted 4 comes out.
Yeah. So
and that's the way I look at it. I mean, I like to kind of clear out my game collection as much as I can because I don't want to miss out on any experience that I could be experiencing. The joys of the backlog. the joys of the backlog. Yeah, and I think a lot of us. I think there's a big number of gamers out there that do that as well. Like there's a bit of change. It's called your shame pile. And it's called your shame pile.
Haven't you finished that everyone else has?
That's right. And it just builds and builds until you just give up and you go, I'm never going to get around to this. I'm going to trade it in eBay and get 5 cents for it. Yeah. So to me, not a huge deal. And on the flip side of things, I would rather that they keep the game, make it as perfect as they can, fix those patches, get it perfect, and then release it.
Yep.
I kind of understand. I understand they have anticipation. They've got a lot of deadlines they've got to make, and they're rushing this out the door. And but the games they're making now are so huge. All these open world games and massive content and astounding attention to detail. There's much more stuff that you can miss when doing this. So, I mean, yeah, they probably should have more realistic expectations about how long it's going to take to make these games. But, if it's not perfect by the time you get there, just look, you got to do what you got to do. It's better than releasing a broken product. We've all seen what happens when they do that. Yeah,
I think for me, what bothered me was coming out at the end of the year. It was overwhelming. You had Fallout, you had Rise of the Tomb Raider, you had Battlefront, you had everything. So when they delayed it, I was like, okay, March is generally a quiet time of year. Like we don't really get big releases. So I thought March would be good. And then already I'm feeling that I'm going through backlog, but I'm craving something new. And so I'm thinking, now it's not March, now it's April. And I'm thinking, what am I going to be doing? And I know Street Fighter V's coming out, but am I going to be playing that for another 3 months until I wait for another big game? And I'm sure there's others coming out, but
doesn't
it's that craving, I just want it now.
But doesn't, like you're saying, all these big releases came out in November, and they're massive games that eat up a lot of your time. Doesn't this give you a bit of leeway to go and play all those games and finish them all? I mean, I know a lot of us are hardcore gamers, we spend days and late nights playing video games, but it's still really hard to get through because all these games are so massive. Like Fallout 4, that took a long time to get through. I finished it, but there's plenty of games of that size and that volume out there now. You just need the time to do it, and I think if something's delayed, that's for me a bit of breathing room. I mean, don't you find does the craving really?
It depends. Sometimes I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to go finish all these old games, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'll get through. Some games I realize I'm up to the last chapter, and I just didn't continue it through. Yeah. So it's good, but then there's those times where I look at my games and I'm like, I've got all these unfinished games. I just for some reason want to play something new, because they're all games that I've tried before, and not necessarily stopped playing because they were bad. Most of them I really enjoyed, but I don't know, I have a really terrible attention span where I'm just like, ooh, this is new, and that's why I have a backlog, because I'm just like, ooh, new.
I guess that's the difference between you and me, because I mean, maybe to a certain degree, I don't know, because when I play a game and I only get through, I don't know, the intro or the first quarter of the game, I just hate looking at the game sit there in my drawer knowing that it's got to be done, but I'm not getting around to doing it, and it just kind of, it's not to a pedantic level, but it does make me think, I like you, but I can't give you the love that you deserve, you know. And I hate that feeling, and it's just and I only do it with the games that I enjoy to a certain degree. Those games I just
terrible. You just like
even games that they're hugely popular that many other people play. If I'm not personally into it, I won't give that the time of day myself. So I have to be personally invested in it. But look, I mean, what other games have been delayed?
So here's a funny one, Mighty Number 9. So that was kickstarted, 2-3 years ago, something like that. I've been hearing about it
10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that forever. So if you don't know, it's by the guy who created Mega Man, the original ones.
That's right.
What's his name? I can't remember.
Oh god,
that's Sean. Yeah. You'll know him. Just look him up. But the problem is that game is it's a 2.5D. So you got the flat surface but 3D background.
Yeah.
So classic Mega Man gameplay. It pretty much is Mega Man without the name. So the first delay comes up, and it's because of network issues.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever played a Mega Man game, but there's no network involved at all.
I was hoping to get in that first-person deathmatch.
So I'm like, all right, network issues. So they've delayed it for that. Then they came out and said, look, we're not going to meet that other deadline that we set because the network issues are harder than we thought. This is a 2.5D game. How do games like Call of Duty, Halo, all these big games meet their deadlines with massive online suites, but something that's 2.5D, that's a Mega Man clone, how the hell does that get delayed of network issues? What are you even doing in it?
Well, in their defense, that was a Kickstarter project, so they don't have the funding and stuff and the resources to back that side of things up. But I think your better point from that commentary is, why the hell are we waiting for network resources for a Mega Man game?
No one who plays Mega Man is like, I've got to have that online mode.
Just spit it out, just get it out. I mean, it must be...
Patch it in.
There's got to be some other issues they're not telling us about. There's got to be.
Because, if you're playing a Mega Man game, in the case of Mighty Number 9, if the game is done and it's just the network issues, release the game, let us play it, and then add multiplayer. Because no one's going to be need to play multiplayer at the start. Those are single player experiences.
Yeah, particularly for that kind of game. I mean, if you're releasing Call of Duty, which
without
is
multiplayer,
kind of these days is pretty dependent on their loyal multiplayer audience, then yeah, I can understand. You've got to get that network service fixed up, but yeah.
A game like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How about Mirror's Edge Catalyst?
So that was one of the 3 games all coming out on the 23rd of February. So we had Far Cry Primal, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Yeah.
3 big games.
Yeah.
I mean, Far Cry Primal, everyone was a bit like, what is this? Is this an expansion?
Just came from nowhere.
Just came out of nowhere. But it's apparently a full-fledged Far Cry game. Yeah. Not numbered, but not like Blood Dragon where it was a little short story. This is apparently a 30-hour
They made it like
experience.
Super quickly.
Yeah.
It's as big as Far Cry 4 apparently.
Because you've already got the engine, the assets, you know, you just, I guess it's just...
It's a different map though, right? So...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they did it. But anyway, so you've got those 3. So Mirror's Edge backs out and they're like, we're coming out in May. I can't remember the reason for doing that. It might have just been, you know, look, there's 3 big games. We don't want to be contending against 2 other games on the same day because it might hurt our sales. So they backed out to May.
Yeah.
So what's that? 3 months. 3 months off the original date.
Yeah.
But the real big surprise was Deus Ex, which has been pushed back to August. Yeah. That's a long time.
It's a long time, but I think that's going to be a pretty big game in the end. I don't know why. It's not a situation of like setting ambitious release dates too early in advance. I think it raises the bigger issue, like you know, when should you be announcing these games?
Yeah.
You know, like when should you be revealing them? Should you be revealing them early and just like let the anticipation build over a long period of time until the release date, and just see how much marketing and stuff you can gather in the meantime? Or do you just wait right till the last minute and just go, ta-da, here's our game?
Yeah, and you can go home and play it today.
Yeah. Well, what do you personally prefer?
I prefer hearing about a game, but okay, so let's start this. So in our last episode, we mentioned the Ghostbusters game coming out this July, and my instant reaction was, this is going to be rubbish. Yeah. Because I just assume that if it's coming out in July and I've heard nothing of it, that it's going to have a short window of time to work on it.
6 months we got.
Yeah, so I have that instant reaction like, this is going to be terrible. But at the same time, when I hear of a game that comes out in, you know, they're like, here's Kingdom Hearts 3, there's a good one.
Yeah.
Announced what, like 2-3 years ago? Nothing. No idea when that's coming out.
Yeah.
And that annoys me because I'm like, it's being worked on, but I kind of just would have liked to just hear about it later on.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to wait and it just drags on, and a lot of people lose interest or forget about it. So I'm in that balance now where I think maybe the time frame needs to be shorter, but also give enough time for some, you know, can't even talk, for some anticipation to build.
Yeah. So how I mean, that's okay. So you got the Ghostbusters example is 6 months, but then you look at the flip side. Well, not the flip. This isn't the flip side, but another example is Fallout 4. When that was officially announced, that was literally 6 months.
Yeah, and a big AAA game.
Yeah.
As well.
So, how do you feel about the differences between those 2 reveals? I mean, obviously, I'll answer my own question.
Yeah.
I think Fallout 4, hearing that and then finding out in the same press conference that it's only 6 months away, was amazing for me. I mean, I've been waiting for Fallout 4. I was such a huge Fallout 3 fan that when I heard about Fallout 4, I was like, oh my god, it's like 6 months away. Yeah. It's amazing. I'm so used to hearing about games and then waiting.
Fallout 4, 3 years time.
Yeah, like just waiting like another 3 years for it to actually come out. And when I heard it was like 6 months away, it just added huge amounts of excitement.
Yeah, and the build-up it was just consistently growing.
Yeah, and then, you know, they were still able to release trailers sporadically, build the marketing
game.
hype. Yeah, and they built the hype. And in fact, it was probably the biggest hyped game that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
To be honest, but when it came to Ghostbusters, why is that different?
So the reason I think that's different is when you've got a game like Fallout 4, you've played the first 3, you know what to expect. You know that they're not just going to deliver some terrible game. I mean, it could happen, but you'd assume, okay, if consistently they've been good, number 4 is going to be great. And you know that they've put their time into it. So I think 6 months of waiting for that is perfect. I think a game that no one knows anything about. See, Ghostbusters is different because it's a movie tie-in, so I think that movie tie-ins, we just have that pre-notion of, oh, this is going to be bad.
That's it, isn't it?
But say, for example, like Horizon on PS4, a new IP, something like that I think needs time to build, because if you only have a 6-month window and say someone only hears about it a month or two before it comes out,
that's a good point.
You need to build what it is. You need to show people why they need to play it, why they're excited.
How much building time do you think?
I think a year.
Yeah, because I think longer than a year gets a bit much.
Tedious. You're just like, because then you start, if it's after a year, you start thinking of, oh, look, this game's coming out, and then you're playing this, and it just gets pushed further and further back in your mind.
Yeah.
And then when it is close to release, it's almost like you have to re-establish yourself with the game to be like, why was I even excited about this? You have to basically go through all the PR again just to get interested.
I mean, like, look at another example, actually, of delayed announcements to release. Tom Clancy's The Division seems to have just been, like, waiting forever.
Yeah.
That one.
And I still don't know what the hell that game is. What do you do in it?
Yeah.
I still don't know.
Oh, it's like an open online world which has been infected by a virus that's wiped out humanity, but there's still people around, people trying to loot, cause chaos in the streets, and you're part of The Division, which is out to maintain order and control, pretty much by shooting people that annoy you.
So I thought it was an online game, but then they came out and said, oh, you can play it single player. But
I think that's great.
What are you doing in it though? Like,
I haven't played the single player experience yet, but I'm really keen about that. In fact, I was actually a bit annoyed at the thought of it only being online, because I thought, oh, here we go, another online game which will be exciting for the first week, and then people drop off and you're never going to play it again. But the fact you can do this single player, that makes me excited. That means I don't have to socialize with people online. I can just, if they all want to walk away, that's fine. I'll just join hopefully I will just join like a team of maybe AI, or even just go rogue.
Well, that's what I was worried about.
AI,
is it going to be AI that helps you, or are you going to have this just onslaught of what's happening to you because you've got no teammates? Like, that's what I'm a bit skeptical of.
Well, AI, I mean, look at all the games that came out before everything was massive open world multiplayer games. There were plenty of good ones where the AI was perfectly reasonable, and particularly stuff that Ubisoft has done before, like Ghost Recon games and
Dragon Age games as well. You've got your party members.
Yeah, well, that's another example from a different developer. Yeah. But yeah, there's loads of examples where you can do team-based combat with AI that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah. Obviously, there's bad examples too, but I mean, we're at a point where developers understand what's acceptable, what's not. So, and Ubisoft's a pretty dependable brand, so I think they should do a pretty good job with making that okay. But more onto the topic of what we're talking about. I mean, do you think that's been too long, that waiting time? Because I certainly feel like it's been way too long. I think it's killed the hype a lot for me.
Yeah, it needs to be. It can't be 2-3 years, because it's just too much. Especially if you're like, here's a video, 6 months later, here's another video, another 6 months later, here's another video. It's too spaced out. If you have a nice window that's about a year, and every month just drop a couple of screenshots, maybe a video, closer to it, a demo, or some sort of event where you can play it, and just get people to stay on the hype train. Just, you don't want to be like, oh, look at that game. What's next? Yeah.
So to conclude, and to help our marketing brothers and sisters in the publishing world, what is the perfect length of time that you should give from announcements to the release of the game?
I'd say a year.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think a year is a good amount of time. I think Fallout 6 months was good.
I think, if it's an established franchise, that...
Yeah, if it's established, But if it's a brand new IP, you reckon a year?
I think a year.
Yeah?
Just because anything longer...
Maybe, what about like a year? What about because E3 happens in June.
Yep.
So what if they did it, what if they revealed it in 2016 E3?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if they waited till the end of, say, November 2017, that's reasonable? Yeah,
so if it's a year and a couple of months,
for a new IP?
that's fine.
But no more than that.
No, you don't want to be going to the same E3 every year, like it's 2016 E3, here's this game, 2017, here's the game again, 2018, it's still coming out, we just don't know when.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, just get over it. Either cancel it, or just release it, because Everyone's already.
I think we saw
overbundled.
the division for 10 E3s in a row.
Yeah, too much. So I think on that note, we'll wrap this up. So that's been another episode of Garage Gamers. Thank you all for watching. Icecube on your left. I'm Zorbz. Stick around for our next episode. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. And don't forget to subscribe, hit like. We love you. Thanks. Bye.